Well, hello, hi, howdy, and welcome to episode 62 of the Game Case. I am Chris, also known as Cuddles, a brewmaster monk on Airy Peak in the Convert to Raid Guild. This week, we're going to talk a little bit about our week in gaming. We didn't get any questions from the Cuddle crew. Come on, guys. And then we're going to talk about Legion because I have the honor, nay, the pleasure of having the only man that I would allow to put me in both a half and a full Nelson. One of my very good friends that lives here locally, a great man and an incredible WoW player, Terra. Terra, how you doing tonight?
Lord Illidan knows the way.
Yes, he does. He truly does. Well, thank you so much for taking some time out of your extremely full schedule. How was your week of life this week?
Not bad. Just, trying to find time for the Legion and, otherwise the same old story with me, man. How about you?
About the same. Grinding on with the job search. It's still, it's going. But outside of that, just really kind of getting pumped up. I'm going to be leaving on Thursday to go to TwitchCon out in San Diego. So really, really pumped for that. I'll be out Thursday and leaving. I got one of those leave late in the afternoon and then get here at an ungodly hour that shouldn't exist flights.
Mm-hmm.
But I always try to do the West Coast like that because I hate leaving. Even if you leave at a reasonable hour from the West Coast, you're back here at your whole day is gone by the time you do the time difference. So
yeah, it's weird. I remember when we flew back from BlizzCon, it was it just totally messed with my head. And it's only a 3-hour difference, but it just totally messes you up.
Oh yeah, it's it's totally wrecked.
Yeah.
But it'll be good. I think I fly out. I think I leave 5 or 6 from San Diego. I end up getting back here at 5:45 in the morning.
Ugh.
So hopefully I'll sleep.
Hopefully.
Flight.
I don't usually sleep for very long when I fly. I do fall asleep, but not usually for the whole flight. Maybe for half hour or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what
I have
drugs are for.
I have no problem sleeping on flights. I think my last flight, I nearly slept through the boarding of it, then slept on the whole flight.
Wow.
And then I also we won't talk about the circumstances surrounding my final day at BlizzCon.
Oh yeah.
And no, it was bad. It was bad. So why don't we go ahead and dive right into what you've been up to this last week, either within or outside of the Blizzard universe. Terra, why don't you kick it off? What have you been doing with gaming?
It's been all Legion all the time, pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah, I've pretty much abandoned everything else. I haven't logged into Overwatch. I don't even know how long. And even before, I wasn't really playing anything else before that. So, it's just nothing but WoW ever since Legion came out.
Oh my gosh, and that's pretty high praise coming from somebody. If I remember correctly, I think you were thinking about not playing.
Yeah, the last time I was on, I had it was actually within hours of that I was getting my ban lifted, and I wasn't really sure how I felt about it. I hadn't gotten any time into the beta yet, and I was, with the way I felt about it, wasn't that people will probably say that ban is why I was not really interested, but it really didn't have anything to do with that. I just was so burnt by Warlords of Draenor that I didn't know that I wanted to invest any time into it again. So finally I got into the beta and was kind of okay, I dig this, and tried not to do too much, because I have a tendency to just play it like it's live. And then when the game actually goes live, I end up ruining a lot of it for myself. It feels like I'm doing it all over again, because I am pretty much, even if a couple things here and there are different or something that was missing is now in. If you level a character to max level in the beta, and then go do it on live, you're effectively leveling twice. It's just one of them was for nothing. So once I got my hands on it and spent some time, I was okay, I think I dig this. We'll see what happens though. And then once it went live and just got really into leveling and playing the Demon Hunter and had some friends who had a place for me to hang out and play with, I was okay, I'm in. I'm into this. Let's do it. So yeah.
Dude, that's actually really cool. I don't know how many people I've seen around the community. Heck, just even in one of the small little discords that we're a part of, that were like, yeah, I'm not doing Legion. I mean, WoW sucks. And now you can't pop into this little Discord, but like it's all WoW all the time.
Yeah, it really is. People seem to be really kind of. I know a lot of people like me were a bit cautious,
No.
after Warlords, and with the people I know who've gotten back into it, they're just totally like, let's do this. I mean, I've heard some people make claims that they think it's as good or better than Wrath.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Wrath for me was probably the best expansion, but there's other reasons besides like just the content or the story. That was all of my personal friends and I were in a guild together, raiding together. Everybody that I played with was somebody I knew in real life, so it kind of had a special place in my memory from my time with WoW. So It's hard to really beat that, but this is turning out pretty good so far, I gotta say.
Nice.
So, how about you? What have you been? You're all over the place with your games these days. I don't even think you spent much time in WoW itself.
I really didn't. My tune's still at like I think he actually hit 106 off of my campaign table.
Oh, really?
He was like halfway to 105, and I used all of my resources just like over the last week, and I sent out every mission that I could. And then I found out that I'm not supposed to do that. Like I might need those later.
Yeah.
So, but no, he like I dinged, I believe 106 now, or I'm right under it. And I think part of it is what I've set up for myself. I really wanted to level my quote unquote main. And I wanted to level him and then worry about leveling up something to raid. Well, leveling in Legion hasn't been quite as easy as leveling in WoD.
You think it was easier in WoD?
I think it was quicker in WoD. I think I ran 90 to 100 quicker than I am 100 to 110. And I really thought that, I don't know. I thought that I would, maybe, like you said, expectations. I think I expected to be able to, in the first week or so, plow through and get Cuddles, my Pandaren monk, up to 110, take him out to Pandaria, set him down, let him sit out there the whole expansion. And now I'm torn between Demon Hunter or Elemental Shaman. I don't know what I'm going to want to do.
Well, if you are wanting the DPS, I can tell you that Demon Hunters are getting nerfed.
Nice.
Pretty heavily. We can talk more about that later. And Elemental Shamans are getting buffed. So, and obviously...
There you go. All right. There. I'm going to bring up my...
your Elemental Shaman.
I'll bring up Schmoosen, which is, yes, evidently, according to Google, someone who's German may correct me. But according to Google, Schmoosen is German for Cuddles.
Yeah.
So we have our German space goat.
Okay, then.
Elemental Shaman.
But they're Russian.
No. This one's German.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yes,
despite the Russian accent?
Well, he drinks a lot, and I think it's the vodka. He was like everyone else around him was they were beer people. But he was a vodka guy, and everyone knows it is fact. If you drink enough vodka, you will get the Russian accent, and then you have problems saying nuclear vessels. Gosh, I'm gonna get a letter from somebody in Russia. That was horrible. I'm not gonna do that again.
That's okay.
Yeah, no, that was bad. Outside of my meager amount of WoW play, I have been ramping up. I'm going to make a run. I don't know how realistic it is or not, but I'm going to take next month and make a run at Legend in Hearthstone.
Oh, okay.
I talked to somebody that said 15 to 20 matches a day, break even, 50% win rate, and you're knocking on the door or you're already Legend. So my goal is going to be to play in the month of October 15 to 20 matches and be able to walk around at BlizzCon and be like, oh, hey, Hi, my name's Cuddles. I'm a legend in Hearthstone.
Uh,
Are you? Oh, you're not?
oh, you're not. Oh, okay. Oh.
I'm just. I am. Just so you know.
And that's 15 to 20 matches 7 days a week?
15 to 20 matches every single day of the month.
That's a lot, dude.
Every single day. Yeah, figuring maybe 15 minutes a match, maybe longer, maybe shorter. But you're talking about a legitimate amount of time in Hearthstone.
Yeah, and you have to roughly break even, you said?
Yeah. You break about even with that amount and you'll be close to legend. But I mean, given that's 600 matches.
That's a lot of Hearthstone.
That is a lot of Hearthstone.
That's a lot of RNG in your life.
That's gonna be my productive potty time.
Thank God for mobile, right?
Yeah, that's gonna be my PPT. So we're just gonna be, once I get to the higher ranks, it'll come away from PPT because I'll actually need to focus a little bit more. But I can easily. I'm sitting around 10 and 12, playing about 200 matches a month. So I think if I step it up, and once you play that amount of games, like obviously you learn about the game. So
Yeah.
if you're not getting good after 600 matches, then it's time to delete it and go home.
Unless you're really a glutton for punishment.
Yeah, and I don't know. Maybe it won't. Maybe it won't make it that far. But this is a lofty and probably ridiculous goal I set. Also, I got, outside of Blizzard, I got access from the devs of a game called Kona.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, atmospheric, like you're stranded in a blizzard, and you're like, really really cool game. I'm gonna have a couple YouTube videos up about that. And then Elite Dangerous seems to be my WoW time sync replacement as of late.
Yeah.
And I need to get away from that and get back into WoW. But I must say, like, Elite has just been, I'm loving it right now.
Well, I mean, hey, if you're having fun, you know.
Oh yeah.
I had fun when I played Elite. I liked it a lot. I think it's a great game. And I saw that update, that graphic update for White Dwarf stars.
Yes.
Look ridiculous.
If you like that, you need to see Neutron stars.
You have to take a screenshot for me.
I will as soon as it comes out. I'm not doing the beta. Same reason, like you said, for WoW. I'm not going to play the game, and then it comes out, and then I'm like, oh, hey, this is a game I've been playing for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, and you feel like...
This is interesting.
Yeah.
Yay.
There was one zone I didn't do of all the zones on beta. So I had one zone left to myself. And apparently it's the one people like the least.
Which one was it?
You would ask me that. I happen to be logged into this. Oh, Stormheim. Stormheim's the only zone I did not complete. Like, I really only put, maybe an hour, not even, on beta into.
Nice.
And so I saved that for live, and I did that as my first zone on, I think, on when I first started leveling my Demon Hunter. And so I really liked it, and I hear people hate it. So
wow.
I personally can't stand High Mountain as a zone. And it doesn't have to do with anything other than I just don't enjoy the aesthetic and don't enjoy the story and all that sort of thing. But it's neither here nor there.
Well, for anybody with a really sharp eye that is in the chat room or watching this on YouTube, this is actually coincidentally the background that we're both sitting in right now is Stormheim.
Yeah, I noticed that now.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's a pretty zone. I like that zone.
I thought it was pretty from the. I haven't gone there yet.
It's got that awesome Valkyr aesthetic that you got from the one starting zone in Wrath.
Okay.
I can't remember the name of it now.
You
roll
play
in
it back then.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you're a WAD baby.
Yeah, I'm a WAD baby.
Oh, dude. I mean, you had to level through there though, right? Or no?
I don't know. Yeah, but I'm the sort of, like, I don't enjoy the leveling experience as much as everybody's like, oh, I love leveling alts, and I'm like, oh, hey, how much is it to buy a boost?
I am not crazy about leveling alts as much as, but I do enjoy the questing experience.
See, I like raiding. I really like raiding.
Nothing wrong with that. I like
that's
raiding
what drew me into the
extent.
game. Not that like I'm a high end. I don't enjoy like high end raiding because I suck. But more so, like I enjoy the camaraderie and the group dynamic, and just I don't know, I have fun with it. And then I
Sure.
think a lot of the stuff that I play around raiding is because I'm playing it because it's around raiding.
Yeah.
That, and I love Wowkimon.
Wow, Kimon.
I love Wowkimon or PokeWow. I don't know.
I like Poke Wow.
I like Wowkimon. Wowkimon, gotta catch 'em all. I'm not gonna do that again.
I wouldn't.
No, that was embarrassing.
might
So
wanna-
since we're already doing it, I'm gonna go ahead and say this thing so that we're doing it officially. Why don't we jump right in to the meat and the potatoes of this show, guys? We one thing that we have stopped doing. We're not doing questions from the Cuddle Crew because we didn't have any.
Yeah,
What's
thanks.
up with that, guys?
Thanks, Cuddles crew.
Yeah, way to come through.
Yeah, drop the ball.
But in no news, because guys, if you want news, go find it. Go to MMO Champ. Go to you're gonna find somebody that can give you news better than I can.
And lots of other podcasts do news items and stuff like that too.
Much better than I ever will.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm just a lot. They can get it a lot of places. Is what I'm
Indeed.
saying.
And if folks ever have a question about a particular news item, just leave a question for the show. Leave it over on Twitter, or preferably leave it in our Discord. That's bit.ly/cuddlesdiscord. bit.ly/cuddlesdiscord. Just drop it right there in the questions for the show channel. We will answer it live on the show, but we are now doing the meat and potatoes. So, Terra, before we start talking all about Legion again, tell us a little bit about you. Who is Terra, and why does he wear a jiu-jitsu shirt?
Well, I wore this shirt because I knew that our little Space Sims crew would give me a bunch of grief over it. I kind of purposely did that.
So he's wearing a shirt to troll other people. This will give you a good idea of who Terra is, by the way.
Yeah, that's pretty. I mean, that kind of answers your question about who am I. I'm the kind of guy to wear a shirt that he knows other people will give him grief for wearing, just so that they'll give him grief for wearing it. But to answer your question, I'm a Virgo. I like long walks on the beach. And the Backstreet Boys.
Nice. I too am a Virgo, although I'm more of a Boys to Men guy.
Okay, well, I like them as well. So that's fine too.
But you didn't say them at first. So let's not go back and try to be agreeable now, Jiu-Jitsu boy.
You got to have priorities, you know.
Well, and I'm sorry, Boys to Men are at the top of my priority list.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
As long as we're clear.
All right. I guess I don't know. What do you want to know? I mean, I don't know what you want me to say.
No, like how long you've been playing WoW? What are you playing now?
Yeah, I've been playing WoW on and off since November 23rd, 2004, aka the day it launched and went live.
Wow. So there you go, folks. How long will it take a player that has played since vanilla to tell you? we are 28 minutes and 30 seconds into the podcast. If anybody's playing the drinking game at home,
I walked into that one.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks.
No.
Thanks.
I did ask the question to be fair.
I'm not coming back.
No.
Swinging
No,
it.
Yeah. No. What? So you've been playing since vanilla.
Yes, I have. I've been playing since vanilla.
And one thing that I would not that I would like to let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Mm-hmm. If anybody's been listening for a while, I think it was back around episode 40 something. Terra was on talking about veteran players and their thoughts about expansions and how they do it. But Terra had a bit of a unique issue at the time.
Yeah.
Can you expound on that a little bit for those that didn't hear that episode?
So to put it in simpler terms, I was banned temporarily for 6 months for using a botting program while playing World of Warcraft. More specifically, I was using a botting program to do my garrison chores because I didn't want to. And eventually they caught on. I'm not really sure how. Probably their warden program that runs in the background or something like that. And I received a 6-month ban. When I finally, the last time I was on, this was the in-between episode where I was just a few hours from being unbanned. I logged onto my account that night, just out of curiosity to see how bad the damage was. And um, as expected, I had been stripped of all of my gold. I don't remember exactly how much I had, but it was probably somewhere around like 125 or 130,000 gold.
Wow.
And it was all gone. And I thought, okay, well, that makes sense. I mean, it's kind of rough, but that makes sense. But then as I started kind of hopping around different characters, when I started doing demon invasions and things like that, as Legion was starting to creep up, I started to realize they took literally all of my gold. There wasn't a character on the account that had a copper to its name. Not one.
Wow.
Yeah. So to those of you out there who are considering botting, just keep that in mind that, maybe you get lucky and they don't permanently ban your account. But if they think that you were gaining, monetary bonuses from it, they will take it from you, and they will take it from all of your characters. I had characters on there that low level alts that maybe had, a couple gold because I got bored one night and started leveling one and then abandoned it for something else. They were also broke completely.
No, Bruce in the chat has a question that I really like. What about gear?
All my gear
mounts.
Yeah, all my gear and my mounts were intact. Yeah, as far as I know, none of my achievements were gone. It was really just the gold. I think because they had kind of put two and two together that I was using this bot for garrison chores, and then was taking the things I was getting from doing the garrison chores and then selling it on the auction house. I wasn't making a large amount of money, but I was making some money from it. I had kind of made my quote unquote fortune, that's kind of the most amount of money I'd ever had on a character in the game in the, God, what is it now? 12 years I've been playing, is anything over like 80,000 is more than I've ever had. And I had made the majority of that getting lucky on a drop at the very beginning of Warlords. So the amount of money that I had that made from this whole thing was not very much, but as a punishment, they took it all. So, but everything else was there as far as I could tell. I had all my raid gear that I had earned, legitimately by actually playing the character.
Yeah.
None of my mounts were gone. None of my achievements were gone. I still had titles and stuff like that. My garrison was still max level, and I was still getting caches and stuff like that.
They just went in real quick, hit a button, and wrecked your gold for your whole account.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I admit I did put a ticket in, like, hey, I know this thing happened.
I didn't know you put a ticket in. This is awesome.
Yeah, I put a ticket in and was like, I know I did this thing and this thing happened and that's cool, but like most of it wasn't made that way, so can I like have some of it back? And they were just kind of like, no, that's intentional. Have fun. See you later.
Ooh, working as intended, my friend.
Yeah, pretty much. The funny thing is that I've now made more gold than I had at the time I got banned. I've made not just like am up to, but I've made more since Legion launched.
Wow.
Legitimately. So in the end, it's kind of like whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have, several.
You'd have twice as much.
Maybe, yeah, but it is what it is.
You'd have a spectral tiger.
No, I don't. No, I don't want. I don't want one of those.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do.
Oh well, you should buy one.
No.
You got to play though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing all right on gold actually.
Okay.
Gold has been really every time that I've logged into Legion. This is pre me starting to raid, obviously. But every time I've logged into Legion, I've logged out with a couple extra 1,000 gold without even trying. Gold, at least during the leveling process and during just the little crap that you have to do. Like gold that doesn't seem to... That was one of the things that I was really worried about. Being a WAD baby and having... Like, I never didn't have garrisons. I don't know what it's like to have to use a profession to try to make any gold at all.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like to be like, oh man, well today I'm going to go out and farm herbs so I can do this thing so I can sell these other things. And
yeah, it's not fun. Yeah. I mean, for some people, I'm sure it is, I used to do, like I had a Saturday morning shift long time ago that I was able to use my computer to play. So I would sit at the computer while I was waiting for support calls to come in, and I would farm, ore.
Nice.
So I mean, there's ways to enjoy it, and I'm sure there's people who legitimately just enjoy, farming for materials, but
Nah.
it's definitely kind of if you're not used to doing it and you had a garrison, you're kind of like, wait, you people had to actually go out and get this stuff?
Yeah. Like, hold on, you had to walk? Like, I was angry when I had to walk over there to get it. You had to go out in the world? What?
Yeah, and imagine what it's like for people who didn't have flying, and then they got to Cataclysm where they could level with flying and use that to level their professions from like before without even leveling their character, to then be told that they had to wait until they got until max level in Mists, and then to potentially not have it at all in Warlords.
Ooh.
Yeah, so yeah.
It's been a rocky road.
It has been, yeah.
It's been a rocky road. I'm more of a chocolate chip cookie dough guy myself.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of rocky road.
Yeah, I'm a mint chocolate chip guy.
I hate you people.
Well, we hate you too.
I don't.
So
why is mint in my ice cream?
Because it's delicious.
No, it's wrong. It is delicious in mojitos though. Now I want a mojito.
Okay, I can make you mojito vape.
I'm so down. Anyway, back to Legion. Now I'm daydreaming about mojitos.
Okay.
But back to Legion. So you're playing a demon hunter now?
Yes, I main a Havoc Demon Hunter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's been fun up until we're now getting nerfed. So I'll admit, like I say we, like I speak collectively for the community.
She speaks for all of Mardun.
Yeah, I don't, but I will say the class it's definitely really, really strong. Really, I mean, overboard probably.
Yeah.
The gap, but not in all situations, mind you. And anybody who says that they're always the strongest class, no matter what, they're ignorant. They don't know what they're talking about. It's because it's not the case. But they are very, very strong in a lot of situations, particularly when clearing trash in dungeons and in raids. They're definitely. They may not be anymore after the hot fixes go in on Tuesday, but up to this point, they've been the favorite for Mythic dungeons and Mythic Plus dungeons, where melee is concerned, because their AoE damage is extremely high. Okay. I mean, I'm known to regularly burst up to 2 million and sometimes 3 million DPS.
Wow.
On my Demon Hunter, yeah. And, he's fairly geared, 850 item level, not anything crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, the really, really serious raiders are probably pushing 860 now. But nonetheless, they're a really strong class, bring a lot to the table. A lot of fun to play, depending on how you like to play it. Very mobile, lots of great animations, cool backstory, great starting experience, much like the Death Knight starting experience.
Yep.
A lot of fun to play, but as to be expected, because they were so strong and there was such a gap between them and a lot of the classes, hot fixers are coming in. My opinion, and a lot of the other people in the community's opinion, is that they're a bit overboard. It's a bit over the top how much of a nerf it is to certain abilities, and it will probably ruin a certain way to play the class for a lot of people, because it won't be viable for raiding in Mythic dungeons or Mythic Plus dungeons. So they might be forcing people to get away from a playstyle they liked or had gotten used to already.
Okay.
But, we have to wait and see. There's already been talk from them, and when I say them, I mean Warcraft developers, the balance team and all that. There's already been talk about them kind of keeping an eye on whether or not the nerfs that they're planning to implement might be more than that's necessary. And they have already said they're not final yet. They're technically not final until Tuesday, and even then they could always revert or change.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I'm trying to be optimistic about it, because I don't really want to be playing the class and have it feel like I just can't really provide anything to the group I'm with or be competitive.
Yeah.
I main DPS. I've always just played DPS. I don't really enjoy healing, and I'm not very good at it, to be honest. And tanking requires, to me, too much attention. Although it requires a lot less attention now than it used to back in my day.
Yeah.
But,
You mean that? You mean me just throwing a keg and hitting? Oh my gosh, I don't even remember what I had to hit back in WAD, back in my day.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what was it? Taunt. What was the dadgum Brewmaster's ability that just made everything ridiculous?
I don't know. I don't
even remember. This is insane.
I'd be shooting in the dark, man. I didn't play Brewmaster. I played Windwalker because, like I said, I don't tank. Are you looking it up?
I'm literally like typing this and looking this up like right now.
Okay, well, while you're doing that, I'll answer comments in chat.
Please do.
Yeah. Let's see.
Well, I've totally forgot that we're doing a podcast. I'm gonna let Terra Burn, my guest here, act like we are doing one.
Okay. Let's see. I run to drink. It's a good name. I run to drink says, DH will be just fine. Yeah, we'll see. It might be. It might not be. If they go live with the nerfs they're planning to have now, it probably won't be fine. It will probably be middle of the road, meaning not competitive. But obviously, the rough math shows some pretty sad numbers, but we have to actually get in game and see how it feels and how it plays versus the other classes if they go as planned. Bruce Nee AU says Vengeance DH is so fun, hardly take any damage. Yeah, that's true. It is fun to play. I still haven't quite gotten the knack of it yet because I haven't spent much time on it. I pretty much use it only to do the really hard world quests that I would otherwise have to find people for. Which is pretty much how I used Blood on my Death Knight.
Yeah.
I just would spec Blood when I needed to do something that was difficult. I couldn't survive on the DPS specs, and then would just kind of slow play my way through it. Havoc at the moment is middle of the road on meters. That's not true. I did a raid on Friday night, and I was top 2 DPS the entire time. The only person who beat me was a more geared marksman hunter.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I think something that we can every time there's been any nerf, and I understand I haven't been around that long in WoW, but every time there's been any nerf to any character, everyone screams, whines, moans, complains, gets down on the floor, knocks something over, kicks their feet and slams their fists on the ground, wets their pants, throws up, takes the cat, kicks it out of the house, and sets fire to the shed. Because their class is now dead and no one will ever play it again. And is there actually a class out there that got nerfed so hard that no one plays it anymore? Maybe it's bad through a raid tier. Maybe it's bad even through an expansion.
Weren't Windwalker monks the least represented spec all through Warlords of Draenor?
Yeah, but I know that there was good Windwalkers out there.
Yeah, I know
that there was Windwalkers doing work. Okay, so I run to drink says Ret Pally, and I don't know.
I've seen Ret Pallies running around. You have to kind of think about it in different terms, right? Like, how do you play the game? Are you playing it IPVP? Okay, well, you're probably going to see a very large spectrum of players, but there will probably be the lesser represented classes depending on if they're DPS class, maybe they don't burst high enough or they don't have much survivability, so they're easy targets in arenas or in rated battlegrounds. Maybe if it's a healing spec, maybe it doesn't do very much throughput healing or doesn't have good burst healing. Obviously, tank specs are kind of a weird thing in that space. Raid environments, the serious raid teams are always going to take the classes that are going to perform the best, no matter what. Yeah. So, and there's always going to be a class that doesn't perform as well as the others. It's just the nature of the game.
Sorry, guys. Numbers, statistics, math. This is how this shit works.
Yeah.
Somebody to be at the top of the chart, somebody has to be at the bottom.
Absolutely.
If you enjoy having a roof on your head, you're probably going to need a floor or something resembling it.
Yeah.
And then you need walls and windows and wires and things, and that's what all the classes they all fit together to build the house that is Warcraft.
Yeah. I mean, in a perfect world, right? Like everybody would be really within a few percent of each other.
And that's never going to be the case.
It's just there's just too many variables involved that that's within the game itself. That's not even considering outside things like service providers, people's personal ping and
How you want to play the class?
latency,
Like,
how
do
you
you
want to
want
play
one?
the class.
Well, and then there's another huge argument. Is there always one perfect way to play the class? They want to give you options, but there's always a way that's going to work out statistically to be a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. There just is.
And that's entirely the that's just always going to be the case. Also, I have to say, if anyone was waiting on the edge of their seat for me to find out what my Brewmaster Monk talents were actually called in WoD, I have no idea. But it's funny, as I was sitting here searching, I can do my rotation on my mouse. Like, I know my rotation,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'll be darned if I know what any of it was called.
Yeah.
And also, I want to say kudos to the community, because when I first started playing in WoD, I can remember looking for guides, and I started what was right before Hellfire.
BlackRock.
Well, BlackRock Foundry,
Foundry.
and then before the one I started right
Highmaul?
before Highmaul. As Highmaul was ending, because I went on the All Monk raid for Highmaul, and then BlackRock started up. I found a raid team, blah blah blah. And at that point in WoD, when I just search for Brewmaster Tank or WoW Tank guides, I found a lot of stuff that was like from like Wrath and like Kata and like just a bunch of like I can't search stuff from WoD now. So congratulations to the community for creating and curating an amazing amount of content that's showing and ranking on Google.
Yeah.
Well done, guys.
Yeah, the class communities, some of them tend to be a bit more private than others.
Yeah.
Warriors cough.
I
But
didn't even know they had one.
yeah, exactly. You're not supposed to. I'm not supposed to. I'm gonna be in trouble now. But generally the communities, and you see a lot of people kind of come and go in those communities. You kind of have the stars of those different communities for a while. Skullflower is a good example. He was kind of the head honcho as far as theorizing, theory crafting, and guides for how to play DPS Death Knight. And
Yeah.
then he got hired by Blizzard to do Q&A. So
And that'll take a man out of the theory crafting community.
yeah, but then somebody will step up and, maybe somebody who kind of was also contributing to that sort of thing, but was kind of in the shadows because this other person went that extra mile or they had been doing it longer so people knew them more. Well, now they have a chance to step up and, kind of be the person that that people go to in the community when they have those kinds of questions.
Yeah, I can't imagine the monk community, just that being the one that I'm familiar with. Like, I can't, and I'm already kind of imagining it without, like, Sunnier's kind of leaning Demon Hunter.
Yeah. I mean, Callie went Demon Hunter.
Yeah, Callie's gone Demon Hunter. Hina's still around as far as I know.
You sure
but-
he's not still staring at the ceiling?
Indeed.
At the monk house?
He's so far, like, he's in the depths of, like, the shadows of the community. Like, you don't see him like you see a Callie or a Sunnier. At least not on my level of play.
No, I only see Hina because I follow him on Twitter.
Nice.
But I don't play a monk either, so I don't really hang out in the monk Discord very much.
Hina is definitely, like, very, very legitimately wonderful at what he is.
Oh, for sure.
He's like the background face. He's like, Callie wants to write an article and needs to know why this talent does 0.67% less than this talent on this point with this tick.
Yeah.
And then Hina sends her 18 pages of calculus with like a summary at the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's the numbers guy, and
Theory crafters crack me up because I get just listening to him at BlizzCon. Like, I made it about 30 seconds into like every conversation that I had with him, and then I was just like, what is he talking about? What is going on? If we were talking about actually WoW.
yeah.
So C4, I've only played WoW for about 5 minutes a few years ago. Would you say that this is a good time to start playing? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the beginning of an expansion is always the best time to get into the game if you haven't before, because you're kind of on the same level with everybody else. Everybody's starting fresh more or less. Maybe they've got characters that they've established, but they're having to start from the bottom up as far as leveling to a new max level and having the best gear and things like that. So, yeah, I would say this is as good a time as any to get into the game. In my opinion, the questing's as good as it's ever been. The visuals are definitely as good as they've ever been, better than they've ever been before. If you're into story, the story behind this one is pretty good. The story behind the new class is really good, in my opinion. And the zones are beautiful. Quests are interesting. I only found one collect poop quest.
Oh yeah, there's one.
There's always going to be one, no matter what you do.
They have to.
Yeah, they kind of have to. So far, I've done the first raid all the way through, and it was actually really good. I liked it a lot. The fights were interesting and different, and they didn't feel like recycled fights from other expansions, like a lot of fights in Warlords of Draenor did. Yeah, I mean, I've said it twice already, but yeah, this is as good a time as any to start the game up if you haven't.
Yeah, do it, man. I'll tell you this. Even though I am putting a lot of time into it, it's not for a lack of wanting to. It's more a balance of some other things going on, specifically and quite honestly, the fact that I've been focusing really hard on streaming. Yeah. And I'm not good enough for people to want to watch me to play World of Warcraft.
Well, I don't know that that's. I mean, you might be selling yourself short a little bit, but there's a niche for everybody, and sometimes the niche in WoW is if you're not a high end PvPer. Like, keep in mind, high end raiders typically don't get much traffic unless they're a personality like Towley.
Yeah,
somebody like that, but if you're raiding mythic dungeons or you're raiding mythic raids, and you're not already an established personality, people just generally, it's boring to watch people raid. It just is, especially at the high end. It's lots of wiping, and
it's very difficult to raid, communicate with the raid team, and balance chat.
And if you're in one of like the top end, like pushing for world first, you can't even stream, or the streams have to be private. I remember Skullflower had a stream going, but it was private, and only certain people had access to it because they didn't want other people dipping in on their strats and potentially getting ahead of them.
Well, I totally get. I think I talk about this, and I'll be reiterating this, and I apologize because I'm probably going to say it every week, but I'm so disappointed that there isn't some way that we can't do World First and make it an event, like something that we can watch and spectate. And I know that there's not, and I understand the reasons. Just like you said, if I'm one team and Terra's the other team,
yeah,
and he downs a boss, and we're still working on it, there's no way in hell he wants me to see what he did.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because that's the thing. These guys don't have 2-minute tips. They don't have raid guides. They don't have, like, you got to think for most of us. I know that there are teams that go in blind, but for the better lot of us, I would say we go in to raids with some sort of idea of a strategy.
Yeah.
Like, you do not go, if you're a normal level raider, you're probably not going in blind.
No, for sure. I didn't even go in blind for the new one. I already had kind of a too long didn't read graphic on how to do the fights. But that's a result of some guild somewhere getting on beta during Legion beta and doing the fights in their entirety and gathering that information.
And guys, I will say I'm not even sure. I'm gonna look right now. We're gonna look up more things because this is compelling audio. I just want to make sure that they're still doing it because I believe they are. Normal heroic Legion raid basics. Yep, Line of Sight Gaming over on YouTube. Just look up Line of Sight Gaming. If you're looking for any guides, they do something called 2-minute raid tips. And it's glorious. Literally 2-minute videos. If you're a raid leader and you have that team that won't look at crap, And, you always have I didn't have any time to read all those strats. Like, here is a video. It's 2 minutes long. We're taking a bio break. Except for you're not. You're watching this.
Yeah.
No being for you, unprepared man. But, I mean, all that, like, I don't know. I wish that World First could be an event.
Yeah, I hear you. But like you said, it's kind of, the nature of it is kind of difficult with the amount of people the amount of guilds that tend to go for World Firsts. It's hard to provide a place for that,
At the same time, I am a big fan of. I always used to tell this to employees, especially in the restaurant business, when I found them complaining. It was, don't come to me with a problem if you don't have a solution. I have absolutely no solution other than taking like 300 nerds and locking them into a building somewhere and televising it. And I feel like that could turn Lord of the Flies like real quick. All of a sudden, somebody from Method is just covered in mud with a spear, laughing at the camera. Mm-hmm. And then my horrible idea is revealed for the idiocy that it was.
It's a secret plan by you to take all the World First raiders out of the picture so that you can get World First.
No, I am World First. Yeah, no way. No way. I don't even have a level. Yeah, I don't even have a tune at max level. So let's run down a couple things before we get out of here. Real quick, what's your favorite zone been so far?
A lot of people hate it, but I really like Suramar.
Okay.
The story on it is really, really cool. The quests, some of them are a bit annoying, but overall they're fairly cool and interesting. It's visually, it's beautiful. Beautiful zone. Some of the best artwork they've ever done. I really like Suramar.
Okay.
Which one do you like so far? I know you're not max level yet, so you can't see Suramar, but...
Okay, so I always say it wrong. It's the one that starts with A.
Azuna?
Azuna.
Yeah.
I loved Azuna. I thought it was really pretty. Everybody, I haven't heard anyone say that.
Yeah.
But I like it. There's water. There's Murlocs. There's Murlocs. Like, what's not to like about Murlocs?
I think everything.
There's some really cool dragony parts, and I'm trying to paint like broad strokes here, because we are still kind of new on. We'll probably coming back out of TwitchCon, we'll go full on spoiler mode and start saying, yeah, there was this quest with this thing. But in that being said, I will allow one spoiler to slip by here. Although I will caveat this with, unless it was a gigantic story thing, what's been your favorite quest so far? Unless it's like, oh my God, at the very end of you ding 110 and then, Jaina is revealed as a Dreadlord and Vol'jin brings Varian and to a wine and cheese show and they decide to adopt an Asian baby.
What?
It could happen.
I mean, I guess.
It could be a thing.
If that's what
it would be like a Pandarian baby.
Yeah. Oh,
there you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Sure.
They decide to adopt a baby panda.
That's not a thing, but okay.
Why not?
Because Vol'jin's dead.
See, we don't know that.
Yeah, we do.
Do people ever really die in these things?
I mean, they lit his body on fire.
Do you need me to run down the list of people that have died and then weren't dead?
No, but, I'm just saying.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
To answer your question.
The one that I asked 5 minutes ago?
Yeah, before the whole weird, thing.
Yeah, they're going to adopt a panda.
And this is Vol'jin and Jaina?
I think we got to Vol'jin and Varian.
Oh, it's Varian now. They're both dead.
That makes sense then. They have a lot in common.
Yeah, they do. Okay.
Something to talk about when they go have brunch.
Brunch, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to write this down.
Yep.
Okay. I'm sorry, you threw me for a loop here.
Well, you realize that in my head, Kanan, I want to put my panda out in, I want to put Cuddles out in Pandaria near Lorewalker Cho, because they're going to start a brewery / artisanal cheese shop together.
You really thought this through.
I am not. So All right, so this is like a little bit of a throwback. It was, and I do not remember which episode of Dark Moon Herald it is on, but there's an episode of Dark Moon Herald, which is a wonderful and amazing podcast that I truly enjoy. All of the people on there, but they ask a question. They go through this trivia thing with you, and so they ask me all this trivia quiz, which is like, I'm a wad baby. I don't know any of this stuff.
Yeah.
Like when I asked you want me to name all the people that died and came back to life, I'm very glad you didn't call me on that because I got nothing. I had that was like full on bluff. I went all in and I had like a pair of twos. So they run down all these questions, and then they asked a question that was like, make up your own romantic like interest in Azeroth or Draenor or whatever, and include your character on it. And I immediately, like, I was a panda, and I was like, okay, well, Cuddles is in love with Lily. And then I was like, hold on, no. Lily's like 6. So let's not do that on the internet.
Hard stop. Pause. Double pause.
Yeah. End program. Reboot. So it became Lord Walker Show in an artisanal cheese shop. So that is literally Cuddles is going out there to have a little bromance with Lord Walker Show and make some cheeses.
You think if you ever leave the game, or if the game decide to end the game,
I would end it with Lord Walker Show.
You're gonna park them there next to Lord Walker Show.
No.
Okay, that's kind of sweet.
They'll forever run their little artisanal cheese shop.
What's the emphasis on artisanal? Why can't it just be a cheese shop?
Well, what are they gonna make, like slices of cheese? Like we're not savages, damn you.
Okay.
We're making fine cheeses like Bries and Munsters and Roqueforts.
I mean, I don't really like cheese very much.
Well, you're not invited to our cheese shop's grand opening then.
But I like craft beer.
I kind of want to have that as an event.
Do it. You won't do it.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make that an event in CTR.
Okay.
Cuddles at Lord Walker Show's artisanal cheese shop grand opening. And just see how many people come up, and I'll make it like a whole big thing and do a video on it. Then just do RP.
Like
and Lord Walker Cho is an NPC that I have no control over, so he will not cooperate at all.
There was a fight before launch.
We're having a little bit of a domestic squabble. Lord Walker Cho just says hello and asks me if he can help me now.
I like that you were open-minded enough for it to be a Lord Walker Show too.
Dude, he's gorgeous.
He is.
I like
sexy.
my pandas. They seem cuddly.
That explains a lot. I mean, you're Cuddles, they're cuddly.
Yeah. I'm actually wearing a Pandaren shirt right now.
Are you? I can't. Oh, yeah, look at that. You are. Okay.
Yeah, I'm wearing a World of Warcraft. This was courtesy of Mick Montgomery and Jinx.com. You guys check out Jinx.com. Go over to Spazbot Studios. Find some sort of code there. Get some money off. Stuff like that. Oh, anyway, what's your favorite quest?
You said I get one spoiler, right?
Yeah, as long as it's not something you think that people would actually be like, oh man, he spoiled this.
Well,
like something class specific, or we talked about some of the big deaths.
Well, I really like the quest line that takes place in Val'sharah. I don't know if you've done Val'sharah yet.
No, and I'm fine.
Okay. There's a quest line that kind of sets up the Emerald Nightmare raid.
Okay.
And it involves Xavius and Ysera, the green dragon, former green dragon aspect, gets involved.
Okay.
He ends up corrupting her, typical Blizzard fashion.
Yeah.
And then you have to kill her. And I was like, okay, we're not gonna actually kill her. We're just gonna like beat the corruption out of her,
Yeah.
Well, turns out I was wrong. And we do kill her.
Wow.
Yeah. And then there's this sweet cinematic that plays immediately after where you see Ysera fall, and then she kind of looks back over her shoulder up at the moon, and there's this night elf languagey music playing, and like these tendrils from the moon seemingly like kind of reach out and grab what it can only be described as, I guess, her soul, and kind of lift her up into the air in this very like Jesus Christ of Nazareth crucifixion kind of pose, and then she becomes a constellation in the sky.
Okay.
Yeah, so I like that quest line.
Nice.
Yeah, it was. It's weird because it was actually nice to see because they actually allowed somebody to die, and a lot of times and that was kind of been the theme since kind of the pre-launch event took place. With the broken shore and all that. We mentioned that earlier about how Vol'jin and Varian are dead, and they're actually like showing a willingness to kill off characters.
Well, I think they need to at this point. Like, they need to make some room. If this game is going to continue on going, which, quite frankly, even at their, oh no, our low point of 3 million subs,
yeah,
I think they're fine for another 10 years. I mean, no, whether or not they continue to carry this on until the very bitter end or gracefully end it and give us something different. I don't think they give us something different until they know that something different is something that we want.
Yeah. Can I just say real quick?
Please.
Bruce Nee in chat said, "Is it weird that one of the main NPCs in Legion sounds like Cho though?" No, it is not weird because it's the same voice actor. Laura Walker Cho is voiced by Jim Cummings, who, if you don't know him by name, he's the voice of Winnie the Pooh and a bunch of other characters on the Winnie the Pooh cartoon, and Darkwing Duck if you grew up in the 90s like I did. So you'll recognize that probably.
I was already a man in the 90s.
All right, well, whatever. No.
Didn't watch your silly little kids' cartoons.
I don't care. Darkwing Duck was awesome.
I'm like a year older than you.
Yeah, I'm trying to think in my head, like, wait, how old is he?
I'm like 6 months older than you. I missed the premiere.
So yeah, he that's why that they sound the same because it is the same voice actor.
Nice.
He's referring to, I believe the character's name is Javi, who helps you around Stormheim, and there's a few other NPCs who also seem to be voiced by Jim as well. But yeah, he does a great job. I love Jim Cummings.
Yeah, Laura Walker Cho is one of my favorite. Like, everything about Pandaland is awesome, and I think a lot of my favorite NPCs come out of there.
Yeah,
because I don't have a lot of the backstory of a lot of the NPCs that people love that have been like, oh, that's that guy from Wrath that like now he's here and now he's there and look at him everywhere, and I'm like, I don't know who the hell that is. Look, there's a talking panda over here. This is awesome.
And to think a lot of people didn't and still don't like them.
Oh, see, I do. Like, I remember when I first started playing the game, I rolled a Worgen and hated it. Hated the Worgen starting area.
Okay.
And then somebody was like, well, you should roll it. And I think one of my complaints was, well, it looks like old. Like I don't think the Worgen starting area at that point, or maybe even to this point, maybe it had a graphics overhaul from when it started, but definitely not compared to Pandaland or WoD.
There was definitely some graphic updates done in Cataclysm that kind of spruced it up a little bit, but Pandaland, Pandaria is kind of where we saw a huge, and WoD as well as huge overhaul to the graphics, and they just have kind of, people always talk about like, oh, is it time for a WoW 2? Do we need to see like the next generation engine for WoW? And it's like, we're kind of already seeing that now. They've made changes to certain parts of the engine here and there as time's gone on, and the WoW we have today, if you were to go back and look at footage or screenshots from vanilla WoW or even BC WoW, it doesn't really look the same. I can remember, it's funny you mentioned Pandaria. I remember when I was in beta screwing around and I took a screenshot of something I thought was really pretty. This is the way I angled my camera. I saw the skybox and the buildings and stuff in the background. So I took a screenshot and sent it to a friend who hadn't played in a while. And he was like, oh, man, that's really pretty. What game is that? And I was like, oh, that's World of Warcraft. He's like, get out of here. What are you talking? You serious? Yeah, so.
And, well, I even had a little bit of that. Not to the extent of what game is this, but I've had a lot of wow, this is gorgeous moments in now in Legion.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it's beautiful.
Yeah, they did a really good job.
They've upgraded the graphics without making it look different, but making it look much prettier.
For sure.
At the same time. So kudos to that, Blizz. But guys, I believe after all the hard-hitting news that we have gotten to today, that brings us to a magical time of the show where we do shout-outs. So, Terra, you got any shout-outs this week?
No.
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 Lord Illidan.
Yeah?
Because, you know, he knows the way.
You want to say hi to, like, Duke or Shark or... No?
Oh, you know what? Why don't we answer his question?
Oh, we did have one question before we get out of here.
Yeah, we did have one question.
I'm so many Twitter notifications away from this. Are you, like, actually close to it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Ducros on Twitter asks, did my 6-month game suspension for bottling prepare me for sacrifices demon hunters make? Yes. Yes, it did.
Yes. There you go.
Because I sacrificed everything. What have you given? Lord Illidan knows the way. Praise be to him.
Praise be.
Praise be to Lord Illidan. Oh, I guess I do have a shout out.
It is known.
It is known. I have to shout out my mythic group. We have a weird name that I don't like. Something about tigers or...
We have a name, I don't like it, so I refuse to say it.
I don't know. I didn't get a chance to give input on it because it was taking place on a forum that I wasn't currently subscribed to. So I had no idea it was even happening. It was like Crouching Tiger Hidden Dungeon or some nonsense. I don't even know.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah, I don't know. But
That's
shout out
not
to
even
those
very
guys.
funny.
Shout out to those guys for letting me come along and do deeps.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I do have a couple shout outs. First and foremost, to everybody that has been along for the crazy journey of this podcast. We're at 62 episodes now. We're about, I don't know, coming up on 2 years into the show. I will be back at BlizzCon at Calm Before the Storm. Huge shout out to them, Zia Seraphis, and everybody else involved in organizing Calm Before the Storm. Well played party. For those that have been asking, yes, I will be doing the live hosting of the Well Played Party again this year. Huge shout to Jules, Pat, Turart Sal, Mage, and Eve, and the people that I'm forgetting, Kalani. Shouts to everybody that's working really hard to make everything, and the Blizzard employees themselves, to make BlizzCon the absolutely memorable experience that it will be for everyone. And also shout out to the person walking in the background. Was that Bernadette?
That was Bernadette. One of the dogs was trying to hustle in here for some attention.
Oh, I'm gonna rewind. I'm gonna make it bigger, and image pixelate it, and
I'd like to make a correction if I could.
Please.
Our mythic team is called Cross-Functional Tiger Team.
Cross-Functional Tiger Team.
I have no idea what that means. None
Huge
whatsoever.
shout out to the cross. Are they trying to say cross-factional?
No, I think they're trying to reference CrossFit, which incites my hatred.
Okay, cool.
I don't know. I have no idea. I didn't pick it.
Vegan atheist CrossFitters?
Vegan atheist CrossFitters who vape and play Demon Hunters.
I know. Which one do they talk about first? It's horrible.
They can't make up their minds.
They don't exist because their heads explode when they try to decide which one to mention first when you start any conversation with them. Yeah. So guys, this is a wonderful time of the show, the special time of the show where I get down on my virtual knees and I beg and I plead for those all-important 5-star iTunes reviews. My friends, leave 5 stars for the game case. That is 5 stars for the game case. Or leave 2 stars for Crouching Tiger Hidden Dungeon, a show about BDSM in mid-century China.
Wait, what? No.
Crouching Tiger Hidden Dungeon. It's a mid-century Chinese BDSM podcast. Seems legit. I'm going with it. No. So 2 stars for Crouching Tiger Hidden Dungeon, 5 stars for the game case. Terra, where can people find you on the internet if they wanted to do such things?
I'm at Terraburn on Twitter. What? I'm still reeling from the BDSM podcast.
I know, right? It's funny because every week I get somebody that's like, oh my gosh, that actually sounded like a cool show. I wish you would start that. I feel like I'm going to get several of those emails about my mid-century Chinese BDSM podcast. Here's the thing. I don't write these down. Anybody that's ever been on my show notes, Terra can attest right now. It just says the 2 stars for ... Like, it's all off the cuff, so I apologize for what comes out of my mouth.
There are show notes?
Oh, come on, really? Dude, I sent them to you on Discord.
Does it say that in here?
There was nothing important in there.
Oh, all important 2 stars for... Oh, yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, legitimately not. Also, I couldn't have come up with that because I didn't know. So, guys, that is going to do it for episode 62. If you'd like to join our live audience and hang out in the chat room, come join us on twitch.tv/thegamecase at 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time right now, actually. I think we're about to go back to standard time. I don't know.
Yeah.
The clocks change, and I don't realize when it happens.
Fall back, spring forward?
I don't know. The clock changes, and I lose some sleep somewhere. But this
we get sleep this time.
Do we?
This time
I feel like we don't. I feel like we don't actually gain anything, Terra.
No, because the clock rolls back an hour.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
But time's just.
But it's still the same damn time,
right?
Yeah, it's still the same time.
I mean, the sun is
just
the same.
different.
It's not. Never mind.
I don't get it. Anyway, guys, we're here each and every Sunday. Although I will tell you, this upcoming Sunday, which I believe is October the 2nd.
Yes.
I will not be here. I will be in San Diego, as I said earlier in the show, at TwitchCon. I'm going to try to record a few things from, I will be staying at the StackUp.org house, which is a charity that helps military vets here and abroad, U.S., NATO, and Australia, New Zealand forces. I'm going to be staying at a house with them. I'm going to try to get some sound clips, try to get something together about TwitchCon. No promises, because I've never done anything like this before. But we will be back on the following week with Tour Arts, talking a little bit about the Well Played party at BlizzCon. Cool. You can also find me here on twitch.tv/thegamecase 6 other nights a week, streaming and laughing with the chat room, generally derping it up. Thank you guys so much for listening to episode 62 of the show. You can find me on Twitter at Mullet863. You can find the show at The Game Case Show. You can download us on iTunes and Stitcher. You can catch recordings of the live show or our tips, trick, kill, review videos at youtube.com/thegamecase, or find all the things on the official site of The Game Case Show, thegamecase.com. Wow, I say The Game Case. Like, do you guys know what the name of the show is yet? Because I feel like I just said it 18 times.
You did say it a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, when are we going to do our Nerds Eat at Foodie Restaurants show?
I don't know. I want to do that. I want to start a podcast about one of the space games that we play. I'd like to start an Elite Dangerous podcast. I don't know, man. When daylight savings times mean they add 4 more hours on the clock and to my day, like that's basically when I'm ready for it. We do need to all get together sometime. Like, maybe you come over to my house. We could like drink a beer and you could move a TV for me.
What?
With that, we're gonna save that for the after show. Terra, say bye.
Bye. Lord Dylan
Thank you for joining us this week inside the Game Case. Please join us next week for more news, tips, and ramblings about the World of Warcraft. Game Case out.